Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again, introducing you to my Devil May Cry 3 Dante Must Die difficulty video walkthrough. This is the second section to Chapter 7, or Mission 7 should I say. Completely confusing my words for some unknown reason. I'm blaming it on toothache, because I've got a wisdom tooth coming through, and I've got to tell you folks, I do not feel any wiser, and yeah, I don't feel like a wizard either, so these fucking so-called wisdom appendages are not very useful. They should be called mildly irritating, constantly nauseating, and rather achingly ballsacky. That's what they should be fucking called, but then again, I don't think that would go down well, you know, at a dental society meeting or whatever dentists do in the spare time when they're not fucking with your teeth. But what we're doing here is we're trying to find a crystal skull that's going to open up the door that leads to the Virgil fight. And this corridor is a fight with the Wraths. And I was enjoying that fight just then, but I accidentally did a move that also is the same button as opening a door, so I completely skipped it. But that enemy I was fighting, they will teleport. They're kind of a combination of all the sins put together. Like, they've got the Lust's dash attack, they've got a projectile attack that's a pain in the ass, they've got a lot of attacks that are pretty rough, so you've got to watch them. Oh, if you're having trouble breaking those balls as well, use Quicksilver. It is an easy way of breaking the balls. They're a fucking nuisance, and I do not know why anybody thought they were a fun idea. Because sometimes, if you knock it too hard and it bounces around, you just can't catch it. It's really silly. But this fight here, you'll notice the greed is spawning sloths, and the sloths themselves are pretty easy, but they'll catch you. Every so often they just catch you, because you can't tell when they're coming in, and you'll just get railed. And if you're not paying attention, there's like a split second of time to dodge, and they'll just swipe you. But once you kill them, another one of the greeds is going to spawn. You'll notice I'm using the Agni and Rudra combo a lot. That is, I think it's called the Tempest. And it's very easy to do. All you do is you hold the right bumper, you press away from Dante, backwards, whichever direction it is, and B. And during the animation of him spinning the blades, if you tap B, he will continue to do another combo if you tap it fast enough, which is the one where he floats in the air and the fire gets super crazy. And it becomes the ultimate Tempest then. But the reason that this fight is challenging is because it's all about managing a lot of enemies, and on this difficulty, it's difficult to do just that, because everybody's attacking you, everybody's aggressive, everybody's got a lot of life, and you'll notice I'm getting my ass handed to me right now, but luckily enough, they don't do enough damage for them to be too bothersome, and when I jump cancel, if I do it correctly like I'm doing it now, I'm too high for them to hit. But this guy's already devil triggered, so his life has gone through the roof. Well, a little technique as well, if you're devil triggered, you cannot be interrupted, you are just like the enemies. That's what Devil Trigger does. It enables you to complete your moves without the fear of being knocked on your ass, which is one of the worst parts of the game, if I'm honest. But I don't know if you can handle this room better, aside from, you know, just fighting better, because there's a lot of sloths, and there's a lot of Devil Triggered sloths, and it's not like you can kill them any faster, unless you get them all together and do the Devil Trigger flux once you've been beating them up a little bit. But just try and isolate a couple of them into a corner, that way that you won't get attacked from off screen, and that way you can focus on weakening, you know, the one that's in front of you. You want to try and avoid any situation where you can see them in the background, because that enables them to do the teleport and attack you. And I do think once these guys die, there's another fight in here, but I could be wrong, so we'll have to see. But if anything, this performance proves you do not have to be flawless through this game on this difficulty to beat it, because there is a lot of leniency. It's just a challenge. And a lot of people seem to think that Devil May Cry 1 is harder on Dante Must Die, and I don't understand that at all. The only thing I can think is, because everything does so much damage to you on the first game, that's why it's harder. But you can kill all the enemies really quick on the first game, so none of the enemies are ever a problem. And then the bosses themselves, they're the real challenge, because they do so much damage, you have to do a lot of hits on them and no hits on you. And that's the only real challenge. This game, the enemies are worse than the fucking bosses sometimes, and the bosses are pretty damn bad. So I don't understand why anybody would call the first one harder, personally. But I suppose it all depends on if you're good at the first one and you're bad at this one, I guess. But use the elevator to get back to where we were. You'll notice we're going to have to go through that room where we fought the climatic battle against the Greeds, and this time it's going to be a couple of Greeds and then a Hell Vanguard. So you want to try and get through the first fight with as much life as you can, because if you don't, you're going to be fighting essentially a boss with no life, who can hurt you very quickly. So I jump cancel, but then I get hit because that swing sometimes hits you, sometimes it doesn't. But what does this guy spawn? I think he spawns the standard sins and lusts. Oh, he spawned a gluttony. That's new. But gluttony's they're really... I don't know what they were thinking when they designed that enemy, because even on this difficulty, he's a cream puff. He does nothing. He just tries to get close to you, and as soon as he gets close to you, he tries to shoot at you with his ridiculously slow sand move, and that's it. I kind of feel for him, but that scream means he's turned up. So this is where the fight gets serious. And what I'm going to be doing is, as you can see, I'm jump cancelling the crosses with this weapon. All that is Y in the air, that big move. And then, as he teleports, I double jump. Same technique as before, slightly different. As soon as he does his scream, he'll disappear and he'll start coming for you with the teleports. He's only doing 2 though, which I don't know what it is, but I kind of always believed they did 3. Maybe I'm insane, but well-timed double jumps will evade it. A single well-timed jump will evade it, but it's much more dangerous. The double jump is the lazier way of doing it, but it's a lot safer. The only way you get fucked is if you jump too early and he does the second teleport into the similar distance as you, and then he'll just rail you, so just be really careful. But as you can see, he's a cream puff once you get used to him. The only real time that they're a problem is in the Bloody Palace, when you get 3 of them at the same time and they all devil trigger. That is a tough fight. That is tougher than anything in the game. But use the Crystal Skull, go through the doorway, and this is your last opportunity to buy anything from the store before you have to fight Virgil. And if this is your first time through the game, after this boss fight you will have Devil Trigger. So if you're wondering what that awesome ability I'm using is, you will now have access to it on the next level when you beat the boss. And I'm going to be taking in Rebellion and Beowulf, and I think I'm going to stick with Cleaner Anne and Ebony and Ivory. And I don't know if I'm using Quicksilver or what, but Quicksilver is definitely the style you should use if you don't have one to pick, because it makes the boss fights a lot easier than they should be, because you can cheese them with slow motion. But you take care now.